All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a live seminar with Foto.no and Sony and Mine. It's going to be a very exciting seminar, guys, so pay close attention. We've been very lucky to get professional sports photographer Mine to have a seminar with us. She is a traveling sports and portrait photographer based in Istanbul and Vienna. She's covered 5 Winter Olympics, 4 Summer Olympics, and 5 Youth Olympic Games. She specializes in swimming, alpine ski, and snowboard World Cup races. She's also a Red Bull photographer, so that's pretty cool. She has collaborated with Vogue in Turkey for over 6 years, taking portraits of artists and athletes. Sorry, getting out of frame here. Her photos have been exhibited all around Europe, including the Olympic Museum in Lausanne, Switzerland. She has 2 books published by the Olympic Museum, and she is also a brand ambassador for Sony's Pro sports camera, the Alpha 9. She was also on the Turkish national ski team in 93 to 94, and the Turkish national snowboard team from 2006 to 2010. So having been an athlete herself, she's very fascinated by the action and the emotions that take over while competing and training. With that said, I think Mina's got enough of an introduction from me. Feel free to ask questions, guys, during the stream. We'll do our best to answer it. And with that, I give the word over to Mina.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I remember I was in Foto.no 2 years ago, and personally I was there, which was amazing, really nice. And so at least I know what the event is, and now it's really nice to be back, even if it's online. And looking forward to talking to you guys a little bit about my work. I wanted to tell you guys the story of how I capture the moments. And take you through my photos and a little bit of my working style. But I always like things to go a little bit organically. So if you ever have questions, please feel free. They will give it to us, the questions, and we can go like from there. And is my screen on right now? So I'll begin. My aim is to capture real moments of the world's best athletes. So my real aim is to show athletes like in their best, as the heroes they are, because I'm essentially a huge sports fan. And as Karan said in the introduction, I was an athlete. And I was a photographer separately. So I was racing and training, and in my free time, and I had my job as a photographer, photographing mostly for magazines. And photographing for magazines actually added a lot to my photography style in the future. But in the beginning, I wasn't doing only sports. I was doing a lot of things. And but when I quit racing is when I concentrated pretty much on sports. Even though I still do other stuff, I just still want to concentrate on sports because it's really my passion and my love. And I know that I can do something so much better when I love it. And that's how I found myself as a sports photographer. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that story. So I've been to 9 Olympic Games. It's a long story, but essentially I'm a huge sports fan. So I've been to all games from 2002 Salt Lake to 2018 Pyeongchang. So Tokyo was supposed to be my 10th Olympics, and hopefully still will be, hopefully. I wanted to start this this presentation with a photo of Sarah Sjöström, who's a Swedish swimmer, who's I'm sure many of you know her because she's such a huge hero. She's probably arguably the best female swimmer that's ever lived. So, and this is the moment that she won the MVP for the whole season of the swimming league in 2019. And I love this moment because it's just the moment she knows she's looking at the team and her coach, and she knows she's got it. And the reason I'm starting with this photo is this photo traveled and kind of what I want to do is capture the emotions of these athletes and make sure that a lot of other people see this and feel this emotion. And during the pandemic, when the pandemic started last year, Sarah asked me for a specific photo where she didn't have her cap on and she was really happy. And she was, so I found this photo and I sent it to her. And maybe a few weeks later, the photo was in Times Square, used in Times Square by NASDAQ, with a quote by Sarah about how to get out of this, pandemic. And it was such a good surprise because, I'm used to traveling and working a lot, and we were all stopped just abruptly. And to know that my photo was out there still kind of doing what I meant to do, which was to inspire more people, it was just amazing to see. Like, Sarah is one of I have a few stars that I follow a lot, and Sarah is one of those stars. And so to see her up like that, like a super girl in Times Square was one of the nicest moments. So I wanted to start with this story of like sort of how I want to show everybody the emotions of these top athletes. And I'm going to tell you guys, like, there's some secrets that I have about how to capture emotion and real moments. So I wanted to start my presentation, as I usually do, with photos of athletes who are about to start competing. I love shooting these moments. It's just so filled with emotion and they prepared so much, and there's so much potential energy. I just always love these moments. And before I start my whole presentation, I'm always excited. I am excited right now. I don't even know how many people you are and where are you from, but I'm still excited to talk in front of you. And yeah, so I wanted to show you a few shots that I've done of athletes who are right, like that last breath before they're about to go. And the concentration, and it's just, it really does fascinate me, this how they get into their minds before they start their performance. And they all have these special things that they do, like this girl always holds the ball and just has this connection with it each time. And I saw that, and like I was like, I want to capture that. And yeah, I just I wanted to put a few of Sarah because she's my big star. Here's a little video I wanted to show you, just a small video we did last year, and then we can go from there. I think my style is trying to go into the athlete's mind and the psyche of the athlete. It's not about just this picture. For me, it's about what they feel. Because I used to be on the national snowboard team and I did a lot of races and a lot of training, I can really tap into these emotions really well and try to portray them. Athletes, they really want to win. I really want a good image. So I do sports photography as if I'm doing a sport. It's very important to be shooting fast, focusing fast, and never losing connection with my subject. I love the Sony 400mm lens because it gets me right there with the athlete. There's this one image of Chad where his hand is just entering the water, and I know I could never have taken this photo without my Sony. As a photographer, using the best equipment out there, that and a dream together create success. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this video because it shows how I work with sort of like me on location. Of course, it's like really, a friend of mine shot it, which was just such a surprise. Like he put some videos of me as a child in it, which was a surprise when I got it. Before he sent it to me, he was like, "You're gonna be embarrassed. You're gonna love it, but you're gonna be a little embarrassed." I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And that was, anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys because it was such a nice project. So I would say I'm gonna start with one of the most important secrets that I have, and then end with also maybe a more important one. The first one is to get closer. And there's a saying like, if your photos aren't good enough, you're not close enough. It's true. Sometimes getting closer can really bring out details, can really, especially with athletes, you can see their hard work with just parts of their body, because you see the muscles, you see the way they do something is something that they've done thousands of times. So they have a different way of doing whatever it is. And it just shows in the little details sometimes rather than the whole thing. But more than that, to get close for me also means not just physically to get close, but mentally to get close. Like to have empathy for your subject, to have a connection. Photography is a connection, is a relation. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about this swimming team that I photograph. Here's the team all together. They're just, this team, they train in Turkey, in Antalya, sports arena. And they're an international superstar team. Like in this photo, you have 4 Olympic champions and a world champion and a bunch of European champions. Like it's just a superstar team. So they train in one of these places which has the most beautiful lights. And I'm lucky to be to have jobs there frequently. So every time I went there for other jobs, I would photograph the swim team. So we started this sort of road to Tokyo, which started like 2 years ago. I wanted to photograph their journey to Tokyo because I've been to the Olympics so much, and I know how hard these athletes work. To find them in their training life was amazing. And the closer I got to the team, the more amazing photos came out. And so I wanted to show you guys, like, I'm doing a series where I'm putting together all the photos of them, giving this sort of playful, but real playful, not like smile for the camera, hello kind of thing, but just like some photos that show how happy and in their element they are while they train. And to get these photos like so naturally smiling took time for me. I wasn't just like immediately like, okay, look at me, give me the smile. It really took time for them to feel comfortable enough, because they're not models, they're athletes, and they're actually training in these photos, all of them. Like if they want, they would come out and do something. So it was really organic the way it developed. And because of this organic relationship, we came out with such amazing photos of athletes training, and on top of it, top athletes. And you see how playful they are. And these are 2 Olympic champions, Chad Leclos and Sarah Shellstrom. And they're just in between training, just goofing around pretty much. And Chad is super famous for just knowing everything around him when he's swimming. So he'll have these shots where he does the butterfly and he will be smiling. He even does this during competition. When I shoot them during competition, he sometimes will come and he's like, I couldn't smile at you. I was like, well, you were racing, you know. So it's his signature look, really. And yeah, they have these moments where they play around and they're just so natural. Yeah, so that's really one of my biggest secrets, to get close to the people. And of course, it helps if you know the environment. It helps if you know them, and it helps, time helps. Little by little, it's really nice it's like I look at athletes like really wild animals, because like they just are so and I have so much respect for them. And so slowly I try to get their world, open up their world, and try to get real glimpses and show it to everybody. And so this is like after super hard training, and he's still so happy. And I realized slowly, I mean, how much these kids train is insane, and how happy they are after. Like, I'm like, okay, that's the only way to do this. Like, if you love it and if you're just smiling and through it. And it shows me sort of Pernille Bloom, Denmark Olympic champion. I mean, she's just, it's a different kind of thing. They just are in their element in the water. And just love it. I'm really fascinated by it. Here's a little other video of me shooting Chad. I'm gonna play this one for you guys. I really think photography is about communication. It's more than just observing. It's about connecting with your subject. Once you can speak the language of sports, make a connection that I think shows in the photograph.
I think she's the champ. She's the GOAT of photography. And yeah, we've got some amazing shots together, and what a great person she is.
I wanted to show this as a, hold on, yeah, okay. And when you connect with them, then they give you these real emotions as well, like that real deep ones, like maybe not the smiling, happy ones, but I love it when they go in and you see their concentrated race faces, you know, how they're just in their minds and like, because they do a lot of physical work, but I find that the most important work in many things and in sports also is mental. And these guys are not just champions with their bodies, but they're, what I saw after spending so much time with them is they're actual champions in their minds. And you can see how intense she is and the way she thinks. I just love it. I just love capturing the real superhero in these athletes. And the way I got to this was to just get close. And these are all real moments. This is the moment when, this is Florent Manadou. He's also Olympic champion from France. He quit racing after 2016 Rio Games. And he quit swimming. And he announced he would be back 2 years ago. And this was after 6 months of training. This was after the Rio Games, the first time he wore a race suit. So you see in his face, he's about to get timed for the first time since the games. And oh my God, it was so emotional. And so, yeah, it's really amazing what the things you can capture. So I went into my most important one in the story, and now I'm going to go a little bit more technical. These are things that all of us sort of know as photographers, but it's still, I just can't go without telling you guys, you know, we have to see light. We have to know light. We have to be fascinated and be in love with light. And, you know, I think we all are. I think that's why we love photography. Like, it's all about light. It's all about the love of the light, and be it sunlight, which is, I mean, this is really a beautiful sun coming from the back, or it just playing around. Like, this was bright daylight, and I just like shot it at like, I don't know, 32,000th of a second, and I just exposed for the sky and just did, like, I was just playing around, and yeah, just really nice to just play. And this one you saw in the video, I just love the way the light just comes in from the bokeh in the back, and just, I mean, something inside me melts when there's beautiful light. And I think we all have this, and I think it's good to train your eye to know where the good photo will be, kind of instinctually. And the more you look, I think the more you see those spots. For example, this was a pool, it was an indoor pool. As soon as you enter, you're like, oh, this is a horrible lighting. But then there was one door all the way on one side, and it was making this one reflection. So I just waited there and looked for, so it's all about like seeing, especially with what I do, if I'm trying to capture them naturally, I need to know where the light is and what to do with it. Like, this was a completely dark pool. They were training for the swim league. There was just one blue spot coming down, and I'm like, maybe I can make something interesting. Just waiting, like, so sometimes a good way is to know an interesting place and just hope that something happens there. For example, Chad, when each time he will dive, he'll do this, like, he will jump up and do this water thing. So I will always like set up to try to capture that moment, you know. This was done with a strobe because the light was really low, but it's just, yeah, like, you can see how beautiful things you can do with combining also natural light with strobe. This is also another many different lights. This is the light from south of Turkey. It's really beautiful, from sports arena. Just trying lots of different things. So my next tip will be framing, and actually feeling the whole frame, not just the angle, but also try to think of a photo as a whole. A photo is from a corner to corner, has to mean something, has to direct your eye, has to, especially with sports photography, with the way I work, I really tell people that I find backgrounds are maybe even more important than foregrounds. Of course, maybe not, I can't say more important, because like, obviously you don't have a photo if you don't have a foreground, but the background is as important. And for me, in a good sports photo, the background should not be in any way distracting if it's not adding to the photo. So you can see like a lot of my images. If you go on Instagram in my name, you'll see like some people say, "Oh, we know that it's your photo." I think I really try to frame it so that you really focus on what's in the middle by making the rest of the image also pretty, but still your eyes should look in the middle, you know? So I always try to play with the lines and play with the framing so that it means something and also looks like that meaning. I don't know if that makes sense, but just for example, like this just makes him look even wider. Like those lines, I think, add to the photo and his muscles and the way it contrasts. Like without that background, the photo loses something big. And yeah, so I always try to look at each line and what it does and how it moves your eye around the photo and how it can draw you to the more important parts of a photo. And with the framing and angling, some people say like you're born with an eye. I don't know, like I think you can develop your eye by looking at a lot of photos, looking at the golden ratios, and just training your eye. I believe it's trainable. And yeah, so yeah, this is pretty much like having an eye. And once, this is an important one, to know your equipment. This is me at the swim league. You can't see all of my equipment, but like I have a Black Rapid double strap, and on it I have two A9s hooked on them. Usually one will have a 7200, the other one will have a 2470, and I'll have my 400 handheld with a monopod, which actually, honestly, I stopped using the monopod like towards the end because it's so light that I can actually now use it as a handheld, and it actually gives me so much more freedom that I'm trying to use now the 400. I'm getting strong. I'm doing my bicep curls, and then I'm trying to handheld 400. But the point of knowing your equipment is we have like one chance to get a perfect image. So your equipment, to capture that moment, you need to be one with your equipment. You need to know how to change the settings. You need to know what you want. You need to know the menus, like how to change the essential things. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be like technical, you know, like every single button. But whatever it is you're doing, you need to be able to be changing your settings fast. So that you don't have to think about technical stuff. When you're at the shoot, you just think about the connection and the framing and the emotions, and you don't have to be like, oh, how did I do that? How did I change that? Just have enough practice that those, I mean, now, like, I'm so connected to my equipment that, like, for example, when I have the two of them hanging, like when I move, I know how much they will fly. Like, you know, like it gets into this kinetic, like I really know how they feel. So I know like how to not to, it just takes time, but it takes less than you would think. Like, just like, imagine you're getting a new cell phone and like the first few days, like the button is weird. And then, you know, it's like that, actually. It's not, but it's important to do. And this was do we have time for this? I don't know. I could show you quickly. Well, actually, we'll see. If we have time, I'll show you this at the end. This was a little video we did in Sweden for the 2019 World Ski Championships. It was really nice. Oops, my name. I'll show you that. I'm gonna show you instead these ones. This is what comes out of my camera, and when I'm editing, how I have to pick which one. So hold on. So my camera has 20 frames per second, and it has amazing autofocus tracking. And sometimes it's just so hard to pick an image, but at the same time, you see that each image is super different at the same time. So really, it's changed my life, like shooting with Sony, these swimmers. Actually, I'm the official photographer for the swim league. So I've done 2 seasons of the swim league now. And in the last swim league, I'll show you this one too. It's such a beautiful jump. It's like almost like a video, and it's just, yeah. And this is Sarah's stroke. I just love the way it feels. Sometimes a few photos together just like makes this nice. So I just wanted to show you some like shots from my selections of movement. And yeah, let's see. This is also showing you how 20 frames per second, and the 20 frames per second, how each frame is just so different. And to be fast is just so important. I mean, I can't wait to try the A1 actually. Like now I'm saying 2020. I know now we're at 30 and I haven't even tried it and I can't wait. I think honestly, you're gonna see the most amazing photos you've ever seen on this Tokyo Olympic Games because of the technology of the sports photo equipment. I can't wait to see what those pros are gonna do with A1. Oh my God. Anyway, I was telling you, so in the swim league, there are people who have been in the swimming world for decades, like legends. And I had multiple people come up to me and say, we've never seen swimming shot like this before. And I know I work hard and I'm passionate and I try to get the good image, but a huge part of that is also the technology that didn't exist back then. So it's all of a sudden for these sports, we're doing, because of the technology now, we're capturing things that have never been captured before. That's why I can't wait for Tokyo Olympics. So just showing you some moments of the moments I captured filled with action and energy and yeah, these are really nice. Another one is to go with the flow. So here's it's a little pun because that's flow on, so it's like go with the flow. But anyway, like what I'm trying to say with this is once you have everything prepared, like you have everything prepared, you know your equipment, you know light, you know how to frame, you know everything, you're engaged with your subject. At one point, you just have to kind of go with it, like stop thinking and just start shooting and just like see where the game, like play a little bit. And to be able to do that, you need to know your equipment, for example. You can't just like completely release yourself into the moment. And some of the best shots I've done comes from these kind of moments. For example, this shot became one of the iconic shots of ISL. And then there was a documentary made of Florent, and I found like a little clip that the guy who was doing the documentary actually photographed how we did this moment, and I had forgotten. So I'm going to show you quickly. So it's like the moment happens and then you I totally had forgotten that, and it just looks like it was such a nice photo that came out, and you look at us, it looks like we're just like playing, having fun. Actually, I was creating that image there. So when I look back, I was like, wow, like out of play comes magic. Like if you just, and then I had this whole thing, like these athletes, they're essentially players, like they love games, they love to play. So like if you can tap into their playfulness, it really says something to their personality. And I have this too. I'm a playful person. So like, usually if we get into those modes with an athlete and like we're doing something, like for example, in the ISL, like another French athlete, Beryl Gastaldello, was telling me, oh, I don't have any photos of me like doing normal things. It's all in the pool. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go take a walk. Like, so we took a walk and we came up with such amazing photos and just like having fun. So this is like, once you know all the technical stuff, it's really important to just kind of let things go and see where and for me this always brings magical things. And this is Gregorio Paltrinieri. He's also an Olympic champion from Italy, and this shot was for the Panerai watches. And I just love this too, because we were doing this shoot and in the pool, and right next to the pool we saw this fountain, and I'm like, Gregorio, you need to get into this fountain because I know I'm gonna do something really. And then so it was just like, it really comes, especially with my work with athletes, it's really like how I get nice images to like have them kind of engage. This is another shot of like how I told you Chad jumps up on the water. And this, Sarah actually kind of designed this shot. He's like, I want to stand there, and another friend was doing water and we were just playing around, and I wanted to show you guys like just, it's really nice to like let them take charge and kind of like play. And of course I love water and splashes. And yeah, like just let them be them, and things happen, like going with the flow. Totally natural, like just standing there. And yeah. And another rule, which I don't have so many examples, but like still, I can't not say it. Sometimes just change your angle, break the rules, do backlight, do something you've never done before. Always have that like new, get excited about new stuff. You know, a different angle, like shooting something from the back, or from a totally different angle, or using shadows. It's just really something always to keep in mind. But this, this is the most important thing. This is the most important one that I'm going to say, because when you look at really good photographers, I think one thing that they have in common is they just won't stop until they get the perfect shot. The story of this shot is how I kind of became a swimming photographer. That's why I wanted to show you, because I had known about all these swimmers because I've covered so many games, but I was by chance at their training facility. And when I saw Chad, I was like, oh my God, like, can I go shoot? So I went and introduced myself, and we did like a quick shoot. And then I showed him this image afterwards. And he told me he's never seen a better shot of himself. And I was like, so motivated. I was like, you're Chad Leclerc. How do you not have it? Like, come on, we can do so much better. Let's do it. And it was just such a, it was an amazing combination, because he's getting ready for the Olympics. This was 2018. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow you to the games. And then I went and photographed him and the team every couple of months. And it turned out to be a really interesting story, because the swim league came on, and then Olympics got postponed, and it's still developing. And I'm actually developing a book about this story, so I'm really excited to share that too at one point. But yeah, like, I think really photography is desiring the best image, and just never, like, for me, it just doesn't end. Like, people say, which one's your favorite photo? I'm like, I haven't shot it yet. I have to do more. I can do so much better. And I actually learned from the athletes too, because I try to always do parallels between my work and sports. And I'm always trying to break my own world record. You know, that's my kind of like Sony, because Sony always comes up with the best in the world. And then even when nobody was close to the Sony, like, they were upping their game, like, even if no one. So it's a race within yourself. Kind of photography is too. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like you should never be happy with your photos or something, but you should always, maybe, I don't know. I find that the ones who are really good just always strive to be a little bit better next time. Always go for the perfect one. And yeah, just this kind of desire that's unexplainable, as if a great photo is like more important than anything in the world. Of course it's not. Of course nobody's gonna die if you don't take that. It's not. But my friends tell me, like, when I get an amazing image, I'm so happy. Like, I don't know what happens. Like, something takes over, and I'm just like, unexplainable. Like, so that's what, and that feeling is what keeps me out there trying again and again to get something different, to get something better. And I hope I don't lose that. I would say that's one of the most important things about photography, the desire. Yeah, a little bit more about my swimmers. Soon we're going into the winter section. So I actually come from the winter world. Like, I know I've been showing so many swimming photos. It's only because, like, my latest passion project has been these swimmers. But actually, I'm a winter girl, and I'm a snowboarder and skier, and I love photographing winter sports. And that's another thing. Like, photography is about showing something to the world. So when you already have a connection to what you're showing, like, for example, I'm a snowboarder, I'm shooting, it makes me so much more interested in taking and spending so much more time. So it's always, you got to make it sure that you love what you're shooting, I think, to make better photos. It's, I think, also one of my biggest secrets that maybe I will add. Actually, I think I added it. But to know and love what you shoot. Or you can go the other way. Like, if you love something, start shooting it somehow, because I think photography is about, like, pointing, like, it's about showing the world, like, look at this, look at this person racing. I mean, so it's for me, that's what it is. Capture the feeling of this athlete and try to see what that evokes in others. And for that, for me to be connected to the sport, of course, helps so much. This was from the Kitzbühel race from this year, actually. Some action shots. I don't get any questions, but like can't even see where you guys are. Maybe I'll just continue, and then maybe at the end we'll have questions. Some nice snowboard shots. Oh, this is a bonus, which I add a section with my girls each time, because I find that to make things personal adds a lot, which is something like that I was kind of talking about. Like, you got to love what you shoot. And for me, like, shooting my girls is such a big inspiration because they're also very active. And I find a lot of similarities between shooting sports and shooting my girls. They're super fast, unpredictable, and it's really, and gives me so much pleasure, of course. So when I'm not working, I'm working on shooting these girls. And they're, it was a great way to try the focus tracking, because I remember, like, I used to get such a hard time trying to get their eyes in focus in portraits, and now it's absolutely no problem. I don't even think about it anymore. So yeah, so I shoot a lot of times when they do sports. And actually, when I first got the A9, they were the first subjects. They were the ones my first models. And this was a couple of years back, but yeah. So every time they do some sort of sports activity, there's the mom trying to, I'll go a little bit fast. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. This was a shoot I actually did for a magazine in Austria. And so this is a perfect way to like bring in my love for action and my kids, and I also love the fact that they're little girls doing sports, and it's a good example. Like, for me, sports and this is a whole lifestyle. I mean, it's not a job for me, photography. It's part of like what I love, what I do, what I try to show. So it's this kind of a project is really nice, really perfect. These are my two girls, and we did a shoot about these hula hoops, and it was really fun. And then this was a race in the Bosphorus, for example, and my mom was racing, so I also do my family. And so for me, it's like, make it personal. Like, so the better photos you'll get of something that's inside of you, I think, or I don't know, that's not what happened to me. So that's sort of kind of the end of my presentation. And I like to end with a bunch of photos of athletes, like kind of, finishing. And yeah, we've come to the end, and but I'm ready to take questions. I'm ready to talk more. So I will do a stop share. Hello. Okay. Great. Good to know, because I was like, if people are asking, I'm not answering. Well, it was so nice to go through and tell sort of my experience. And I think, yeah, the most important thing I do is like I try to like always go through what I love and just try to photograph and show that. And then that's how it works. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to tell everybody, but I wish somebody would have a question. So yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. Great seminar, Nina. It's very interesting. I paid close attention.
You did. Thank you. I'm really happy that you did.
Yes, it was very interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great. I hope. I mean, for me, I just talked, so I didn't get any feedback. It was a little bit interesting because you don't get to see, like, so please, my Instagram is Mine Kasapoglu, which is hard to spell, but you'll find it. And I will check my DMs, so if you have any questions, please feel free.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.